Hello, my name is Kristen Minish and I'm a product manager here at LI-COR Biosciences. Today I'm going to walk through unpacking your LI-8250 multiplexer. The multiplexer will come in a box with various spare parts as well as the power supplies, which we want to be able to show you. But to start, we want to point out the manual. You'll receive a copy of the manual with your multiplexer. This is a great place to start when you're unpacking your instrument. Section 1 goes through in detail all of the components that you'll receive with your multiplexer, so as you're unpacking, you can verify you have all of the necessary components. In addition to the manual, you're also going to be receiving a spares parts kit. This spares parts kit is always important to keep with your instrument, whether you're out in the field or in the lab doing measurements. It'll include spare tubing, a spare filter, as well as some spare internal filters, all of which I'll show you here in a few minutes, as well as some spare caps for any ports that may be uncovered while you're doing your field research. In addition to the spares kit, you'll receive one Ethernet cable. This is if you want to communicate directly with your multiplexer. It's very useful when you're in the lab and you're connecting one of your computers, and we always recommend using the Ethernet cable that's included with your system instead of one that you may have around your lab. In addition to these components, you're going to receive a couple of options for powering your multiplexer. We'll go through each of these options in more detail, and when we do the walkthrough of the instrument, I'll show you where they will connect. The first power option that you'll have is a DC power cable. This is used when you're doing a long-term deployment and you're using an external battery pack or solar panels to power your multiplexer. So it'll have the weatherized connector for connecting directly to your multiplexer and then terminate in bare leads that would connect to your power source. If you're indoors, say in your lab and you're just trying to configure your system, we have an indoor lab only power supply. It'll come in this box. It'll have a cable which is specific to the AC mains power receptacle that you have in your country. And as you can see, it's just a lab-based power supply. This power supply connects to the internal of the multiplexer, so the lid has to be open to be able to use it. It's important to remember this is indoors only, so you can use it as you're testing the software, looking at your configuration before you deploy it outdoors. One optional item that I want to show you that you may or may not have ordered with your system is the weatherized AC power supply. If you have mains power at your field site, then you may have ordered this weatherized power supply that you can deploy long-term with your multiplexer. It'll again include the cable necessary for connecting to the multiplexer and then sealed connectors that ultimately terminate in the power receptacle needed for your territory. Again, this is an optional item. It may not have come with your multiplexer, but if you do have mains power at your field site, I would really consider using this when you deploy your multiplexer long-term. Lastly, while it might not seem that important, when you unpack your instrument, you'll notice that it will have two of these foam pieces. They'll be covering the connectors on either side of the multiplexer. We would strongly suggest to keep the box that your multiplexer comes in, as well as these foam pieces. That way, if you do have to return your instrument to LI-COR for service in the future, or more than likely, if you're shipping it out to a field site, you can use the box it comes with as well as these foam protectors to make sure that your instrument is protected when you're shipping it. That's also detailed out in the manual, and so you can look at that for further details of how to package your instrument. Now that we've gone through the components that are included with your multiplexer, we also want to walk through a few of the connectors on the multiplexer itself. Again, this will be detailed out in section 2 of your manual as you start looking at the components and how to connect the system as well as power it. We'll start off by looking at this side connector. On this side connector, you'll see your power connection. Again, this works with the DC power supply that I showed, as well as the weatherized AC power supply. You have 3 Ethernet ports. These can be used when connecting with a LI-COR trace gas analyzer, as well as if you're connecting to a local site cellular modem for communicating your data back and forth. You'll have a USB connector as well as a power inlet for the LI-870 CO2H2O analyzer. That's another optional gas analyzer that comes with an option for the SoloFlex systems. And then your air inlet and outlet. This is your single air inlet and outlet for all of the gas analyzers. We do have options for split tubing if you do have multiple analyzers connected at your field site that are an option for the multiplexer. On the other side of the multiplexer, as I flip this around for you, you'll see your chamber connections. You'll see an air inlet and outlet for each of your chambers, as well as your power and communication port. This will be a single cable for power and communication to a long-term chamber. Now that you've seen the exterior of the multiplexer, we'll take a quick look inside of it as well. You'll just open up the case by pressing down on the clasp. On the inside, this is where you'll see a few of the parts in your spare parts kits used. You've got internal filters that are user replaceable, as well as a user replaceable pump. All of those replacements will be detailed out in other videos by our science and support team that you can watch at any time when you're ready for that. In addition, you'll see this control panel. Here, you'll see power and ready lights when you first apply power to your multiplexer. You also have 2 USB ports. This is if you're trying to transfer data in the field via a removable USB drive that you would bring to the field site with you, or if you have a USB Wi-Fi dongle that you're using for communicating with your system out in the field. Lastly, at the bottom of the case, you'll see the connector for that indoor lab power supply that I showed you. It can connect directly to the system there and will be able to power your multiplexer when you're using it indoors. As always, we provide additional videos, manuals, support, and technical documents online. You can view those at any time, as well as reach out to our support team via telephone or email or chat, as well as to your local partners within your country. If you have any questions as you use your multiplexer, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you for your time.